All right, so it looks like we're live here. Just quickly want to get a little sound check from everybody so everybody can hear everything. All right, sounds good. All right, good. Yeah, so we'll just start off here with Tesla real quick. So I covered this in the daily video, but again, Tesla coming in, kind of sitting here at 664. We can look at the after hours if we want. Let's take a look here. It's got this kind of like inside bar action going on, so it may move higher later in the after hours. There's only 45 minutes left in after hours trading, but it might pop higher tomorrow morning. We'll see what happens. The point is, Tesla is no longer getting those type of ridiculous moves on earnings like it used to. So yeah, but basically what you want to concern yourself with on Tesla is the 700 level, maybe 730-ish, 750 on this upsloping trend line. And then on the downside, we look for about 620 here, and then we have this support here. This is a minor pivot, but the major area here is about 550, and then the ultimate level is about 500. Don't think it gets there tomorrow, but just for reference. And then just for our foreign friends here, I did set up TradingView, so we can look at the TSX now. We can look at the ASX or the FTSE, whatever you guys want, but I did pull that up, and we can talk crypto too. So I've got Bitcoin here, as you can see. Again, Bitcoin coming off the highs here. Now, Amazon spokesperson did come out and deny allegations that they are accepting crypto as payment. So Bitcoin's coming off the highs, but again, Elon and I think Kathy Wood and Jack and Twitter did pump it last week, so it is getting a bid. But again, I don't care about Bitcoin until it breaks above 42,000 or until it breaks below this 29,000 area. But if we want to talk crypto, we can talk crypto. I got TradingView up, so we want to talk foreign markets, we can do that too. But just really quick, we'll get into Q&A in a minute, but I just want to pull up the VIX. Actually, first, let's just look at Southern Copper. So Southern Copper reported today, generally flat. So like a lot of these high yield plays, like copper being one of them. So these copper stocks are reporting Southern Copper flat, but a lot of the high yield plays are starting to get a bounce. Copper's bouncing, so just keep an eye on that, although it does have resistance, but that's a nice move there on copper. Also, I did just hear this, so I might be late on this, but I did find out now Robinhood is IPOing on Thursday. I'm pretty sure that's right. If I'm wrong, let me know, but from what I heard, it is IPOing on Thursday, so that's something we're going to definitely watch here. We had a lot of action this week. We got FAANG earnings, we got the Fed, we got Robinhood IPO, so it's going to be a busy week. But I do want to talk to VIX a little bit real quick. Notice how... So really our last monster move in the VIX was really in January. But, you know, we've had these nice little moves up, but really lately, we've had some pretty big one-day moves. This here was 20%. This was 20 or 23%. This here was almost 30% in 2 days. Whereas before, it's like we kind of had to like build up steam to get to those big spikes. We had to like build up steam. We had to build up steam to get to this one. And now it's like we're getting like big one-day spikes, 20%, 25%, almost 30% in 1 day. So the VIX is getting kind of restless here. That's what it looks like to me. It doesn't mean we can't make a new low. We can, and we might if we have FAANG earnings and they're good and they blow out like they usually do. The market could hold up. We also have the Fed this week, so the market could hold up. We could go up and test this 447, 448 level, and the VIX could get hit and make a new low. However, typically, if there's a sell the news event, the market does hold up for a day or two afterward, and maybe there's a gap up. You know, like a stock like Amazon, for instance, maybe it gaps up and then it sells off on the sell the news. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's just a scenario that I see that is possible. So I just want to bring that up and share that with you guys. But yeah, other than that, let's just get right into the Q&A, I guess. Everybody hearing me okay? Yeah, averaging into the VIX. Yeah, I'm. I want to add in here. By the way, that was a great job, everybody. Like when you get a spike like this in this market environment where they're just buy the dip is so rampant and the leverage short vol is so strong and we're in such a strong uptrend, you got to take profits. So because this could have been, for all we know, this could have been the move. I mean, we're expecting a bigger move, yes, but obviously we didn't get that. But that's why you trim your position. Then we can always add on the dip. So that's kind of what we're doing here. So, but yeah, I do think I think we're gonna make another low in the VIX, honestly, before the big move. I think there's too many bears in the market. I almost shorted Moderna last week. I wanted it to get up to 350, and it got really close, and we had a nice reversal. It did get up to 350. Actually got to 360 today. I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. But I wanted to take a shot at it. I just didn't. But this thing is absurd extended, and this is definitely distribution. I mean, that's as clear as it gets. But I mean, some of these Vax names, like Novavax, this thing was like $2 a year and a half ago. Look at this. You can't even see the candles. It was like, all right, $3. And it got all the way up to 180 and then all the way up to 320. But yeah, some of these Vax names are just ridiculous. But yeah, it's hard. I would play it with puts if you can. Or if you're going to short it, just scale in. Short volume on Tesla. I don't, off the top of my head. I do, a good website for that is shortsqueeze.com. That's actually how I was following that a lot last year around this time when I was long some of the cannabis stocks, and that was really helpful because a lot of those stocks are being heavily shorted, like especially Aurora and Tilray. And my thesis was, going into the election, like they're going to have to cover because you can't risk a Democratic sweep. And eventually that happened. I kept accumulating and accumulating, and it was frustrating as all hell, but eventually that paid off. I had some calls on Tilray and Aurora Cannabis, and I wish I had held them a little longer. I would have made close to 60 grand off of that. Instead, I made a couple grand, but that's hindsight. So, but yeah, shortsqueeze.com is good. I haven't followed the short volume on Tesla though. Um, 444 on the SPY. Yeah, that's probably, what's a good trend line that I haven't talked about in a long time. We're going to look on the E-mini here. So let me just pull it back. If you go back to basically the March low, or well, the first rally off the March low, this yellow line here, if you notice, the market hasn't gotten too far extended on either side from this line in basically since we've made it. So we had this little trend line here, tagged it a couple times, pierced it, tagged it, broke through it, then we chopped through it, and then we just hugged it for months. Broke down, got back up there, rejected it. Now I think we go and test it again. And notice how it sort of coincides with that same trend line I have on the spider as we flip over here. So yeah, you can see how it's coinciding with this topside trend line. It's almost at the same area. So yeah, I think that's going to be topside resistance for us in the S&P. Top plays post correction. I had a few, like, you guys know I'm long Zoom. I just like this. I like what it's doing. But CRM's a good one. Salesforce. And I'm basically going off of stocks that aren't absurd extended, like this is what you want to see a stock do when it gets parabolic. It goes back and it checks back to the 20 moving average. It's not overbought. This is actually on a good breakout. Amgen, I've talked about this one. This one's not extended whatsoever. It's in a nice uptrend, and it's just following the 20 moving average. Netflix, again, another one that it's got this 20 moving average upsloping, and everyone hates it right now. So that's kind of what I like here. I'm liking that. I like that people hate it. I want to see this 20 moving average come up a little bit more, and then maybe Netflix can get some juice. Alibaba, I know some of you guys don't like the CCP names, but Alibaba, this is where it's going. 175. It gets to that gap, it's a buy. Baidu, I posted this on Twitter earlier. Baidu gets to 150. That's going to be a major level at 150 on Baidu. And if it gets below that, it's going to go to 130-ish, but that's, again, another major level. So, I mean, those are just a couple of names there that I like post-correction. And I do like FAANG post-correction, like the rest of the FAANG stocks, if they can actually pull in nicely, because if we have a sort of disinflationary environment, those stocks are going to play out, they're going to benefit from that. So, I mean, you guys know that I was long Apple as a hedge like a month or so ago because it had been underperforming the rest of the sector. So I just like that. You know, I like names like that are underperforming but have upside potential. That's why I liked Apple there. That's why I like Netflix now. I think Facebook is actually decently, I mean, at this point it's kind of overbought, but it did have a nice consolidation here. But Google and Microsoft, those names, they're just so overdone. Yeah, the SPX hasn't had, I mean, you're looking on the quarterly, but we can look at the quarterly if you want. But basically, the SPX hasn't had a 10%, jeez. And you were talking about the 5 EMA, this is ridiculous, but that's 6 quarters in a row up, but it hasn't had a 10% correction since last year. This was barely a 10% move, if I'm not mistaken. The only thing that I'm worried about on the bear side is the fact that it's almost so obvious that it's like we're basically coming up on the anniversary of this blow off top. Like this was late August, right? And then we went to September. Well, we're coming into August now, and if we're blowing off at the same time, it's almost too obvious. I don't like it when stocks do that, or when the market does that. Yeah, I don't know about a government shutdown. That's a real tough one because they're hinting like they're going to try and do something like that. I mean, you hear the government talk about this stuff, but how much of it is just posturing? How much of it is them just trying to push the vaccine? How much of it is, you know, it's tough. And I think maybe maybe it's political nonsense. They're threatening it so they get the debt ceiling raised. If the market starts to tank before the debt ceiling is raised, I mean, that could be an excuse. That could be an excuse for them to do permanent UBI. I mean, there's all sorts of things these bureaucrats can come up with. But it's hard to speculate, especially after what's happened in the last 18 months. I mean, who knows what the hell they're going to do now. I mean, there's talk about them wanting to do like literally climate lockdowns now. So they've already set the precedence for this type of thing. So, but the problem is it's also very politically unpopular right now. If millions of Americans got the vaccine, saying okay, now things can go back to normal because you told me if I get the vaccine I'd go back to normal, and now you're going to shut things down again. It's going to be ridiculously politically unpopular for them to do anything like that. So part of me thinks it's posturing and politicizing things, but it's really hard to make an investment decision based off of, what a government can do. mean, that's why a lot of mining stocks, like South American mining stocks, are so risky, because you don't know what their governments are going to do. There's political risk involved in that. But all we can do is trade the charts, and just let the charts tell us what's going to happen. And somebody always knows something. Someone always knows something, so they're going to tell us what's happening. The chart will tell us what's happening beforehand. Let's just take a look at the dollar here. Let's just do a little scans here. So we got this trend line here, dollar closing below it, but I don't really care about that right now. It's on a weekly basis here that this trend line this inverse head and shoulders triggered, so we'll have to watch it for Friday. So that's something we're keeping an eye on. XLE having a nice day again. Same thing with all these high yield plays like Jets. The only reason why I dumped it last week is because I got off a break even so quickly. I just entered it at the wrong time. Obviously wish I held it, but I made the right play defensively. But Jets might move higher here. XLE moving higher now. We have Chevron and Exxon reporting on Friday. I think Conoco reports this week too, so be careful about that. But then you have like JP Morgan, a little bit of a muted upside here, and the same thing with the XLF. Holding up decently, but not a huge upside today, as opposed to like XLE, which had a really nice upside day. If the market rolls over, we will be looking to get into some shorts on KRE, possibly KBE, but KRE is a little bit weaker. It's the regional banks, but this is now in a downtrend. So if this thing gives us the right pattern here, I will be shorting this, especially if the market starts to roll. So this is a weaker name. When it comes to taking on bear plays, you want to short the weak, beat up on the weaker ones. When a lion goes after a herd of zebras, they don't just randomly pick. They wait for the one with the injured leg or the one that's sick. That's the one they go after. You want to go after the easy layups. So this is what we're going to look for. Not to say you can't short some of the strong names like Moderna. You guys know I was shorting Viacom, and I was scaling in at 77, and eventually got paid twice on this. Now, I had no idea it was going to fall as much as it did, but if I had known that, I would have held it all the way down to 40 bucks. But you can scale in short, but the higher percentage plays are going to be in hitting the weaker names. Well, if anyone has any more questions, let me know, because I'll stick around. But if not, we'll do another stream maybe tomorrow or maybe on Thursday after the Fed. But if nobody has any more questions, we can wrap it up early. Let's take a look at yields real quick. Yeah, I think yields have another move lower in them. I've been very patient on this, by the way. Like, I've been trying to, I've been talking about entering a yield play at some point, but the setup's just not there. Not there yet. But I think there's going to be another move lower in yields, and that'll be the time to get in there. Thanks, Emmanuel. Appreciate that. Yeah, we can talk about metals real quick. Yeah, so basically, when it comes to the metals, we're just gonna. I don't like the. You guys know I'm bullish, long term on gold, silver, of course, but I don't like this weekly chart pattern at all. Like, it's just not. You close below this green bar here, this wide range green bar, and now you have this big inside bar here, and I just near to medium term, I'm just not excited about this. It looks to me like it's setting up to move lower, and kind of the same thing on silver. You broke through this trend line, and I talked about this. You don't want to buy this trend line because you have this bearish consolidation right above this trend line. What that's telling you is you're building a wall, you're building an army to go push through this support. And notice how it's gotten basically a dead cat bounce. It hasn't, normally like this bounce here, you had a robust move. You had a robust move off of it this time. Yeah, you're not getting anything right now. Like within 2 days, each time you hit it, you had a nice bounce, and we're not getting a bounce. That's telling you it's weak. So we'll have a chance to get into the metals, but it's not now. We just got to be careful. Just got to let them do their thing. Oh yeah, let's talk about the Chinese stocks. And I'm guessing you saw my retweet, Kevin. But yeah, so that's exactly what I'm feeling on this, like with Alibaba and IQ. China's, we know China manipulates things, I mean, every country does, but China is really good at it. And essentially, like, I believe that they're just trying to they're trying to jawbone their stocks lower so they can create really good value on them, essentially. I think this is all kind of just overdone here. When you look at GOTU, granted, I understand the selling because of the news, and this thing got destroyed, but glad I wasn't in this. I did trade this to the long side a few times, and I made money each time. I think it was like 3 for 3 on this one on the way down, but I'm glad I wasn't in it when it dumped last week. But this might be capitulation here. I mean, we might be getting close to it anyway. I mean, if you want to play this, you want to play this, play it with like leaps. So yeah, January 23. I don't have an issue with that. That's a lotto ticket, essentially, because China can just let their foot off the gas and decide that they're not going to, if I'm right and they are just jawboning this lower, who's to say this isn't a $20, $30 stock, and then, some not too distant future. Yeah, oil, I don't know. I think oil is going to roll over, but I'm not. I mean, this is a nice reversal here. Had a nice reversal off the lows. That just shows you how fierce the buy the dippers are. But look at you see this chop here, right around here, right around there, where my crosshair is. That's going to be resistance. You notice how it's stalling out just a little bit. If it rejects this 20 moving average and starts heading lower, then what you want to watch for is, does it take out this pivot low? And if it takes that out, then it's 100% going to 61 or 61.71, possibly 57. But if it makes a higher low, then maybe it holds up longer. This actually is holding up all right. Voodoo? This is not bad, actually. Whoops. This is not terrible. You're right into the 200 moving average. Now, granted, this is a triple bottom, so you know what that means. Probably wants to go lower. It probably will go lower, but this isn't the worst chart I've seen, though. Like, GOTU has absolutely just been decimated. TAL, this is getting punished. Actually, JD's holding up okay, but this thing's going to want to go lower. So these Chinese stocks are getting punished. And it's basically just the CCP flexing their muscles, in my opinion. And they're knocking these stocks down so that they can get them at a discount. E-mini Tick's a really good follow on Twitter. His short-term support and resistance levels are very good. In fact, last week, you guys remember when I was talking about the market going vertical? That was somewhat based off of, like, one of his tweets factored into my analysis on that. It was right here. If we close below or close above the 435 area, we'd go vertical, and that's pretty much what happened. Yeah, yuan versus US dollar. That's, yeah. I don't know if I have it on. Actually, you have to have it on here. It might not be on Thinker, so I might be able to pull it up on TradingView though. In 1 second. So, yeah, so we're making a little bit of a bottom here. And yeah, there's a little bit of a bullish pattern. And that's being set up to attack this 200 moving average and attack these highs here. So if the US dollar gains on the yuan, I mean, and that's part of the reason why the dollar has been gaining a little bit. And it's off the lows very nicely, and obviously the euro has a lot to do with that, but the yuan does matter as well. All right, well, I think that's gonna about wrap it up today. It's a Monday, so I mean, there wasn't a whole lot going on other than Tesla. And we're going to have the bulk of the news coming tomorrow, coming Wednesday and Thursday. So save our energy for that. But yeah, thank you guys very much for coming out. Again, as always, if anything changes, I'll let you know. I'll be the first to let you know on Twitter. But again, yeah, we're just going to wrap it up here. And thank you guys very much. Take care and have a great rest of your night.